But let's move on to the game that I think everyone wants to talk about, the UMass Minutemen. So UMass comes in, and I think everyone knows there's not much to say really about this game. UMass fired Don Brown this week. The former Michigan defensive coordinator was 6-28 in 3 years at UMass. So he's out, and who's the guy? Shane Montgomery, I guess, who was a Miami of Ohio coach, I guess, in the early 2000s. Was Buffalo OC a few years ago, and Buffalo's offense was not that good in 2021, 2022 for what that's worth. But I don't know too much about Shane Montgomery, but he's going to be the interim guy for UMass. Georgia, this is the second time that Georgia's played UMass ever, at least since they've been D1. Maybe they don't have records before they were D1 or FBS. But they won 66-27 back in 2018. That was the team. Andy Isabella was on the team. I think he put out like 200 yards receiving on Georgia that year. He got drafted, so that dude was a baller, and I think that was the game. I remember Justin Fields having like a pretty good game. Not many of those you can remember as a Georgia fan. I remember he had just like a beautiful like 60-yard dime to Miko Hardman, I want to say. Miko Hardman, 57-yard touchdown. Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of. Justin Fields, 5'8", 121 yards, 2 touchdowns, 7 carries, 100 yards, and a touchdown. So, yeah, that's definitely Justin Fields' best game as a Georgia Bulldog. It's not a long list. I think the Tennessee game, actually, that year in 2018 was a game that he kind of came in and made a difference, kind of that playing that backup, change of pace quarterback type of role. So, but enough talk about Justin Fields. He went to Ohio State. He's a Pittsburgh Steeler. We don't need him. Jake Fromm, great 3 years. I don't miss Justin Fields. In the Georgia not revisionist history, but in just the in the mental gymnastics I always can do to justify losing Justin Fields was that we never end up with Stetson Bennett if Justin Fields doesn't transfer, and Stetson won 2 titles at Georgia. So, hey, good riddance, Justin Fields. We appreciate that you committed, but Stetson Bennett took us to the promised land. I would have always liked to have seen Justin Fields as the starter, but who knows? So let me get into what I really want to see from Georgia in this UMass game. I'll be honest, I want to see Carson Beck throw the ball like 40 times in this game. And that might sound crazy because like this is a tune-up game at the end of the season. But usually when Georgia's in this position, there's an SEC championship waiting a couple weeks from now. So let's get healthy. We got Georgia Tech. Let's not, obviously they're better than they've been in years past, but let's not get hurt or anything versus Georgia Tech. Let's stay healthy for that SEC championship. Now, Georgia Tech's the season finale. Obviously, you have the playoff. 99% chance you have the playoff after Georgia Tech. But the fact that you don't have that SEC championship game right then, I think you kind of use this as just let the guys go out there and have fun. Like, let Carson Beck throw the thing around. Like, let this offense get some rhythm. Maybe we see some of these young guys. We see a Nitro Tuggle. We see a Covey White. Maybe like we saw a lot more playmakers. Like, we're used to seeing Georgia spread around to 7-8 guys. We haven't seen that much this year. It's been like the same 3 or 4 receivers playing for the most part. Like, I'd like to see some of these young guys and, just get this offense just on rhythm. They looked good in the last, 3 quarters of that Tennessee game. But we want to see more of that, So I'm here for it. See, maybe Chauncey Bowens, maybe Dwight Phillips, some of those guys. I mean, defensively, maybe you see an Ellis Robinson play some. Maybe you see a Chris Cole, Justin Williams. Maybe they play more like Smile Munden. It was huge. Smile Munden showed how big of an impact player he is on this defense. I think people kind of forgot about Smile Munden because Georgia recruits all these 5-star linebackers. It's no big deal to be losing one, but Smile Munden is the best inside linebacker on this team, and I think he reminded people of that. But at the same time, he's a senior, he's missed some time with injury. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw almost none of Smile Monday in this game. Let the young guys go in. This one, make some plays. But yeah, I mean, I would like to see Carson Beck, juice the stats. Everyone else does it, right? Like, go out there, throw it 40 times, throw for 500 yards, throw for 5 touchdowns. Like, just celebrate some touchdowns, just feel good, make these numbers look a little better. Let Georgia get a little more credit for how good the offense is, because obviously this offense has had its struggles, but they are the only offense, they're the only team in the SEC that has 6 30-point games. This is my stat that I feel like I've thrown out here for a few weeks. When it was 5 30-point games, they did let me down in Oxford, Mississippi. But this offense is, there's been a lot of offenses in this league that have struggled. And so Georgia's not the worst one. They've been pretty solid. So I think the struggles, while they've been there, a lot of it's been because of the turnovers. They've actually moved the ball well when they're not turning it over, which is obviously you know, is what it is. You can't be turning the ball over. It's a bad look. But I think the way Carson Beck played last week, gained that confidence back. Let him throw it around this week. Let him throw it around against Georgia Tech, and just try to get this offense, as in rhythm as they can be. Get a couple weeks off, get healthy. Maybe you get ETN back. Maybe you get another one of these running backs back by the time the college football playoff turns around. But yeah, Georgia in this game is a 42-point favorite. Like, you can do with that what you want. I know Georgia has not covered a lot of spreads this year. I probably am not picking them to win by 42, but maybe the defense gets some turnovers and they can do something. Obviously, this UMass team is not good. If they were, they wouldn't have fired their coach this week. So, there is that angle to this game. So, I think when I look at Georgia, you don't want to get any injuries in this game. You just want to stay healthy, have some fun, score some points. They put up a 60 spot the last time these two teams met. So I expect a big time number. This team's 2-8 on the season. Coming into the year, let me pull up their schedule real quick. So, they played Mississippi State a couple weeks ago, lost 45-10, played Missouri, lost 45-3. So UMass is always scheduling these SEC teams, and you saw both of those teams win easily, and Mississippi State's probably the worst team in the SEC this year. So I wouldn't be surprised if Georgia covers a 42-point spread, but I'm not going to be out there giving anyone advice to jump on a Georgia minus 42 versus UMass. So that's just me. You do what you want.